Not enough defense and not enough offense. It's kind of the answer to that, I guess. At least we didn't turn over the ball as much as we had been turning over. I think we had 12 turnovers, so that was a positive. And, I thought the second and third quarter we scored a little bit and kind of slowed them a little bit, but the first and the fourth, there's just no answer to number 21, I mean, she shot the ball extremely well, and actually she was shooting it in transition. That's extremely hard to stop. I don't know many defenses that you'd have to face guard her and try to do some of those things, but just in the fourth quarter just got away from us. I think we had cut it to 8, so it's just one of those games. Offensively they looked pretty good, and they were aggressive and they tough. They got older kids that played junior college for her and played at ULM, so a tough team, and usually the tough teams win.
Kind of just talk about Keats and the performance that she had. What made it so difficult to contain her on the three-point line?
That's a good question. Why? I was asking my kids that why. Like, why aren't you up on her? Like, after the second shot, why wouldn't you get up? And she got. We're switching on handoffs. It's hard in baseball and softball. Y'all see the error, so that shortstop sucked that game, or the third baseman threw the ball. In basketball, y'all don't see that there's no help. Like, nobody notices, or like we switch in handoffs. They hand off a lot on the perimeter. They hand it off, so we switch in handoffs, and you can't switch when you're off of a player. If you know, we call it jump switching. Like, we want to, and so that's how at the first quarter, that's how she was getting her shots, because we wasn't up on her, and so when they would hand off, she would just step back and shoot. I mean, wide open shot. So that's kind of like, I mean, when you have a shooter like that, especially even if it's a non-shooter, after they hit 2 or 3 shots, it's one of those nights that they're feeling it. So you got to get up and guard. And I think that's what we don't do. We're scared to get beat, and I'm not worried about getting beat because I put the pressure on to help. You better, like, if I'm forcing it where I need to force it, you better be there and help. And it's something that we work on, and we just got to continue to try to make them understand that we got to play up on them. We call it pressure to contain. You want to try to contain them as much as you can, but you have to pressure the ball.
And then offensively, I mean, three-pointers weren't falling tonight, getting a lot of touches in the paint. Kind of just what was the look at that? Do you feel like that was more just like a halftime adjustment, or were y'all planning going into the game?
Well, we were getting layups and stuff like that the second and third quarter. Lane line drives and getting into the lane, and it's kind of our game. It's like our jump shot. They did a pretty good job of kind of containing Michaela, because he's a jump shooter and stuff. But we're really not that efficient at shooting threes to begin with. Some nights Kay will hit some of them and stuff like that. But that's not our. If we shoot 10 a game, that's enough shots, not made. But if we shoot 10 a game and make 4, that's 40%. We would take that. So when you get behind, you start shooting more and more. And again, that's not our strength and stuff. It's we're more of a jump shooting team and stuff, and that's kind of, that's kind of some of the things that are our weaknesses that show up against teams like this.
You had a good run in the third quarter, and then fourth quarter just seemed like things just started falling back apart, going back double digits. Kind of what did you see?
Yeah, with the 6-minute mark, I think we were down by 8. We had cut it to 8. We were pressing. But Keats was all on the bench at the time, that whole time that we were making the run. And I knew that was going to happen, because when the weakness of our press is somebody's going to be open. And so what they did, they put her in a spot to be open. And, man, she was knocking shots down from where she had layups. I thought she had layups, and she decided to shoot the 3. When I saw that, I'm like, so that's why we got out of the press. I guess maybe with 5-minute mark, we decided to get out of it, because, I mean, they were just hitting 3 after 3. Number 8 hit 1. I think Keats hit 2, and it made it kind of tough. And I like the Johnson kid, to be honest with you. I don't know what she ended up with, but she's tough. To me, it's the experienced kid that gets into the lane. When you get into the lane, then you can create all those options for everybody else. But offensively, they look really. I thought they looked pretty good. They were hard to guard. Well, hard for us to guard. And then I thought our offense, the second and third quarter, did good enough for us to win if we could have made stops.
With the season winding down, one home game left on Saturday. What's the message to the rest of the
Well, the message is we got practice at 2 tomorrow in between the men's shoot-arounds and stuff. And, we're going to come out and keep on working on what we do, We are getting better at breaking presses and scoring out of them. If you remember the beginning of the season, it was a chore where we were having 20-something turnovers and live ball turnovers. So and we've been working on that every day on high post passing and press breakers. So we're going to go out and do the same thing on the defensive side. We've been hunting. We hired a new coach mid-season and stuff, and he's pretty familiar with the 1-2-2. And like I told him, I said, I'm going to let you teach it to him. He teaches it, but nobody gets in the way, so it doesn't make a difference if we run a 3-3. Put 10 people on the court. We're not going to stop nobody unless we get in the way. So it's too. I guess I make it too simple. Basketball is a simple game. It really is, and we're just not doing the things that we need to do for this system to work. My coaches keep on telling me, "Coach, don't worry about it. It's not the system. It's how we play in the system." And I'm starting to believe that. Usually, you find Amani Daniel is the one that fits in perfect what we're trying to do, and I need 10 more like her.
Coach, it was a basketball game, but it was not any other basketball game. You're sporting the breast cancer logo. Everybody was wearing pink, and you also was honoring the late head coach of Southern Miss who passed away from breast cancer this past June. Just tell me how much it means to you and your team to be able to, collaborate on such a thing.
It's difficult, when you're shorthanded, like Matt and them are. They're shorthanded. Everybody that has the UL Raging Cajun symbol is shorthanded. We shorthanded. And it was a little different today because we didn't do what we needed to do in the game, and we didn't do what we needed to do before the game because of the breast cancer survivors that are in our area. I don't know if they got the message or I think we have social media now. And so, I don't know. And so I got on the phone, we ended up having 2 survivors come to the game. And I've been here 14 years, and that never happened before. So, I'll take all the blame. I should have not worried about the scout and worried about trying to do that. But it's just like, it's disappointing to me to have that. And then Joy Manilis was really friends with my wife. They were like really, really good friends. So I wanted to honor Joy. Joy's more than just a coach at Southern Miss. She coached at Memphis, but she's a women's basketball coach that cares about the sport. And I think she did a lot for the sport, way longer than I did. And so, I thought it was just for us, for me as a coach, getting close to, older age and stuff like that, to honor somebody that meant that much to the game. And so I'm hoping other people realize what she meant and stuff. So I thought it's good. I love the breast cancer game. My wife died of breast cancer. I have so many friends that have had breast cancer, just a lot of friends that have survived and stuff. So to me, it's about, I keep bringing it up, UL is about education, so we educate in our community. Who better to educate our community than UL, So that's kind of, it's just disappointing, though. We lost is the disappointing, and we lost because we didn't take advantage of our platform to educate, and maybe y'all can put that out there and say, hey, we really care for our survivors, and we really care about them getting, mammograms, and we care about them making sure that they're doing blood work and they're doing all the things they need to do medically to make sure that they do catch it. And that's not always the key is catching it early. It's maintaining that. Once you have cancer, how do you maintain that after you do all the all the chemo and all that? It's not over. You got to keep on, and I know that's the mistake me and my wife made is we didn't do it, and now I'm living proof to help other people to make sure that they don't do that, and we missed a chance. A little chance, but a chance.